कोई बात नहीं, ठीक है। ई प्राइसर, ई कॉन्फ़िगरेटर, ये तो इतने बड़े प्रोजेक्ट्स होते हैं। देयर आर वेरी फ्यू ई प्राइसर बीएस इन द वर्ल्ड, एंड व्हेन देयर इज अ रिक्वायरमेंट फॉर ई प्राइसर बीए, रियली पूरी मार्केट में 6 महीने खुली रहती है, एंड दे डोंट फाइंड एन ई प्राइसर। दिस इज अ वेरी टफ मॉड्यूल इन Siebel, बट व्हाट इज दैट? So if you are working in e-pricer, e-configurator, it will be a separate project altogether. When I say iHelp will be a separate project, it will be 3-month thing, but you will go there for 1 year. So 3 months you will be working on iHelp and 3 months on TBI. All that will be helping like this. But if you go on as a Siebel e-pricer BA, actually there is a job title as this, and for 1 full year you'll be working as e-pricer BA. You won't be working on anything else. Just as data conversion BA is like a full-time job, you'll be working for 1 full year and as a data conversion BA. E-pricer, e-configurator are very complex skills also. But what are these? I'm not going to explain e-pricer, e-configurator in all its glory, but I will tell you what these are. In Dell, what is e-configurator first? Like for every chassis, if you go to Dell, for every chassis, only certain RAMs can be used, like 2 GB RAM or 4 GB. You cannot use, let's say, 8 GB RAM. You must have seen this situation when you go to Dell.com. When you go to, let's say, and for same thing, you cannot use every kind of display. You can use, let's say, 15-inch display or 17-inch display. You cannot use 20-inch display for a certain chassis. So you choose the chassis or the model first, and then you can choose the other options, right? The way this works is it requires complex data setup behind the scenes. Remember, we were talking about data setup and lookup tables. It requires very, very complex data setup behind the scenes, very complex. For every model you have to set up all the possible options. Then obviously the engine will pick up and then show it. But engine is an engine. It doesn't miraculously understand what Dell wants to do, right? Dell wants to sell with a certain chassis. So this complex data setup is done in e-configurator for setting up of the product configuration. You might be thinking, what is this configurator? It is nothing to do with the configurator, the guy who actually does the product Siebel development. Siebel developers are also called as Siebel configurators. They are not, they are different people. E-configurator and configurator are different things. Configurator is a person who does configuration or like development. E-configurator is a tool or a utility or a technology available in Siebel to be able to configure the products, to allow the users to be able to do the product configuration. That is the origin of the word configurator. Okay, how there are like classes, I don't know what else. There is like product class, you have to set up product class, you have to set up this. Similarly, e-pricer, pricing is even more complex. For complex products, pricing is also complex. When they use 2 GB, the price has to be different. When they use 4 GB, price has to be different, right? Sometimes when they go from 2 GB to 4 GB, the price should not change. That has to be set up too, that there is a discount today. Discounts have to be mentioned for certain things. Bundle discounts, volume discounts have to be. Bundle discount means buy one get one free. Volume discount is when you buy 20, you pay only $20. You don't have to pay $2 each. Those are bundle discounts. Or when you buy one product this, these have to be set up. Again, data pricing setup of e-pricer pricing is very, very difficult. Who will be setting up these pricings? Not not developers or not administrators of IT. These will be set up by the users. There are pricing specialists within the company who, because price changes every day, they can go to the developer and do it. Siebel will not survive if they create a technology like that. So Siebel platform helps you create a platform for the business administrators or the pricing administrators within the company, within the sales people team, who will just manage the prices and enter the prices of various items. And then on the portal, it will show like that. Then it will be showing like that within the Siebel. So if someone calls, then the same pricing will be available in Siebel, all that stuff. Making sense? All that is done using e-pricer. E-pricer is all about setting up these things. Okay, but you will not be setting up, you will be providing functionality. It's complex, man. I do not know. I have not done any e-pricer project. Even if you get a project, we'll work on it, don't worry. Smart script. What is smart script? Smart script is a construct in Siebel. You might have heard troubleshooting guides. They go through a script, right? We call it a script. in English word script, as in English word script. When outbound callers, they call you, sir, are you interested in your credit card? Just as you say yes, then they ask other questions. Sir, what is your age? What is how much monthly income do you have? What is the limit that you want? They ask five or 10 or different questions. Then they just end the call, right? Those 10, they are basically going by a call script. English word call script. You can do Google, and whatever you get with call script is exactly what I mean. In Siebel, you use smart scripts is a technology or a tool or a utility available in Siebel to satisfy requirements like this. The one that I said. It is very simple. There is a FAQ smart script for this, but I will quickly show you how it looks like in Siebel right here. The user will come and he will where are the scripts? Give me 1 second. He will, how they access and all that stuff, don't worry. When you're working on this project, we'll see. They will basically choose a smart script. They will click OK. It will present first question to the cold caller. So it will be basically used by the cold callers, right? From the business perspective, cold callers, they are called as cold callers. The marketing callers, they are called as cold callers, right? So they will ask, thank you for calling. They speak like this, right? Right. So then they will do next. They will enter. They will then enter this thing. Then they will enter whatever. The next question will pop up in front of them, right? So important things about smart scripts is branching. You know, when they ask the first question, depending on the answer, it should branch. It should present a different question. If the answer is yes, this question. If the answer is no, different question. Smart scripts के बारे में इतना बहुत है. It's a series of basically इसके main चीज होती है script, questions, answer options. These will be set up by the users. You will be providing the functionality for them to set up and see how the script looks and then release it to their sales reps. So smart script administrators are basically nothing but the users themselves. You will provide this functionality and you should know that this is available in Siebel as a tool. If they need troubleshooting guides, which basically means step-by-step things, they can ask you and you can say, okay, we can implement it using smart scripts. Similarly, if they want, let's say, cold callers kind of script, they can be implemented using smart scripts, so on and so forth. There are many things available. In one of the projects that I worked, they wanted, when someone is entering the account information, okay, company information of the caller, they wanted the data to be entered in a sequence. We use smart script to enter the data of account. Okay, making sense? There are a number of possibilities. Whenever we need sequence, certain answer to the first question should determine the next question and the answer options available in that. Then we need smart script basically. Okay. If your project is in smart script, we'll discuss it in detail later. DNB, what is DNB? Dun and Bradstreet. A lot of people implementations utilize Dun and Bradstreet. What happens is Dun and Bradstreet is a company. Okay. It's a company, right? You can get the credit report from them for a company. But in companies like big companies like, let's say Dell, when they are dealing with their big companies clients, they want to make sure that if they are selling 1,000 laptops on a lease, they should be able to check the credit before they promise something. So they maintain the credit profile. So just as you get the credit profile, the banks take your credit profile, right, using their SSN. Similarly, using the federal ID number of a company, you can get their credit profile from Dun and Bradstreet. They will tell you the reliability factor of that company and credit worthiness of that company. So Dun and Bradstreet basically provides, it's a credit rating agency, just as there is a credit rating agency for individuals. TransUnion, Experian, these are famous credit rating agencies, right? Similarly, there is a credit rating agency for the companies. Dun and Bradstreet is the company. You should know. If you're working in Dun and Bradstreet project, we'll talk about it in detail. There are more things to it. It should be automatic. User will enter this information, click submit, and it should automatically go in a real-time manner, fetch the report. Making sense? Syndicated data. Syndicated data is, there is a lot of data. This is more like data concept actually. There is a lot of data. For example, pharmaceutical companies utilize it a lot. What happens is, these pharmaceutical companies, they buy, let's say there is a manufacturer of a drug called Aventin. Aventin is, let's say, a diabetes drug. They want to know how much of other competitors' products, diabetes drugs, were sold in this certain territory, things like that. How many of those are being sold? So basically, there are companies which basically have relationship with all the pharmacies, Walgreens, CVS Pharmacy, whatever there is, Rite Aid and all that stuff. They buy the data from them about their drug sales and sell it to company like Aventin Pharmaceuticals. Aventin is just a fudgy name, it's a fake name. I'm just giving you, okay. Aventin Pharmaceutical will buy this data from this third party company about the data of the pharmaceutical sales. There's a typical process in the pharmaceutical company. They use it for analysis, they do it for this, blah blah blah. All this data of pharmaceutical sales and everything is called as syndicated data. I'm not sure why it's called a syndicated data. I've never really understood this thing, but that's fine. We'll talk about it in detail if you're working syndicated data. So if you hear the syndicated data, let's say you're working in a manufacturing company or a heavy duty manufacturing company, you should realize that they are basically buying some data from some place. That's what it simply means, which is about certain sales, certain trends, certain something, and that's it. If you know these news companies, they buy a lot of news right from each other. Have you ever heard of RSS feed? Real simple syndicate. Same similarity. There's a lot of similarity in that, because they also buy the news, that data. It comes automatically from them. There is a similarity actually. You have heard this thing. I don't want you to say you didn't hear it. If your project is related to that, you should know that you heard this thing. That's it. Third party data. You will hear this thing a lot in a data project. What happens is, third party data. These companies buy a lot of data. Sorry. I want to tell you something. So what happens is, for example, in field service, this is very, very common. This is a great field service concept. These companies don't work like this, that you will maintain our own warehouse and remember we're talking about parts warehouse and all that stuff. Let's say there are field service engineers, they get the parts, then they send the return shipment to them. They will, let's say they hire a third party warehouse company. Making sense? Okay. This third party warehouse company will basically process the returns of Dell as well as of Compaq as well as of HP. So HP, if they maintain their own return warehouse or their own warehouse, it will be expensive for them. So if they use this warehouse, which is processing returns for every kind of company, it will be cheaper for them, right? So there are many such companies. They basically process the returns of, let's say, Dell. They are third party company. They are not Dell itself. They are part of a separate company. Okay. So how does the data reach from them to Siebel? There is a thing called as, so they basically send the data on a daily basis or something using a batch, which basically developers will suck using an EIM job. As we talked, EIM is for batch jobs, right? So they will use EIM to get the data into Siebel. So third party data is a very common thing that you hear in your projects. Okay. You now have an understanding of this. If they're talking about third party data a lot, you can talk to me again about it, don't worry. But you should know that you've heard it once at least. Flat file. What is a flat file? A flat file, how you see in Excel, let's say you want to buy the data of all the students who have registered in a university. Last name, first name, the course that they want, their address, their number, their email ID. Right? One option is get it in an Excel. But this is not good for Siebel EIM to read actually. Excel is not easy to read. Trust me, text pad is easy to read, notepad. Okay? This is a very interesting thing. वो formatting होती है ना, वो कई बार उसके कारण Siebel confused हो जाता है. Not Siebel, any all the softwares, SAP वगैरह confused हो जाते हैं. So if you are getting the data from another company or something, you just say generate a flat file for us. Put it in a basically text file. Text file is very simple. Last name, comma, first name, comma, this for every record they will enter like this. Okay? Making sense? I can easily generate a flat file for an Excel file
I take the data out of Cbol, I can get the data and I will quickly make a flat file out of it. Okay, comma separated values file. Have you ever heard of this? Did you do the file export of Cbol?
File export?
Yeah, it will, each and every line will look like this. Chambers, comma John, comma comma this, comma this, comma course interested is physics, comma नंबर कॉमा ईमेल आईडी. ओके, इसमें एक प्रॉब्लम है. इसको हम एक और भी चीज़ बोलते हैं, मशीन रीडेबल फॉर्मेट है. ये थोड़ा इजी, मशीन इजीली रन कर सकती है. आपको जो लग रहा है मुश्किल है, बट मशीन के लिए इजी है, क्योंकि मशीन के लिए कुछ फॉर्मेटिंग का ध्यान नहीं रखना मशीन को. मशीन विल सिंपली रीड फर्स्ट, कॉमा आया अगला स्टार्ट हो गया. इसका मतलब कॉमा आया अगला स्टार्ट हो गया. इसमें बस एक ही प्रॉब्लम होती है कि अगर किसी के नाम में कॉमा है ना तो मशीन कंफ्यूज हो जाएगी. राइट, नाम में ही कॉमा है, किसी ने गलती से डाल दिया यूज़र ने. तो हम क्या करते हैं, हम इसके अंदर बड़े सारे फिलॉसफीज हैं फ्लैट फाइल कैसे जनरेट करनी है. अगर फ्लैट फाइल जनरेट करनी है, पहले हम जब डेटा निकालते हैं ना, सबसे पहले उसमें से कॉमा रिमूव कर देते हैं, जब वो सेपरेट कॉलम्स में होते हैं. फिर कॉमा डाल देते हैं सिर्फ कॉलम के लिए, बट देन वी आर मेकिंग द डेटा करप्ट. राइट, तो क्या करते हैं, सेपरेटर यूज़ करते हैं डिफरेंट. कॉमा की जगह डबल पाइप यूज़ कर लो. डबल पाइप का कोई यूज़ नहीं होता. डबल पाइप समझते हो, ये डबल पाइप है. अगर आप देखो तो एंटर के ऊपर ना एक स्लैश है, स्लैश के ऊपर शिफ्ट प्रेस करने से एक डबल पाइप होती है. आप नोट करो, ये स्लैश है ना, सॉरी ये स्लैश है, इसके साथ ही एक स्ट्रेट लाइन बनी हुई है. नोट किया आपने, मैंने अभी प्रिंट किया आपके लिए यहाँ पे. इसको पाइप बोलते हैं. ये पाइप जोन सी है ना, ये यूज होती है एज ए सेपरेटर अलॉट, बिकॉज इसका कोई यूज नहीं होता. कभी भी आपने यूज किया इसको, ये एज ए सेपरेटर बहुत यूज होती है फ्लैट फाइल्स में. और डबल पाइप यूज कर लो फिर तो कोई चांस ही नहीं कि किसी यूजर ने डाला. उसके अंदर भी ऐसा है कि अगर किसी यूजर ने डाला, पहले आप क्लीन कर दो, जैसे मैंने बोला. तो वो थर्ड पार्टी वाले बंदे ना, फ्लैट फाइल बहुत सारे इंटरफेस होते हैं, फ्लैट फाइल इंटरफेसेस होते हैं. वो जब देंगे ना आपको क्लीन करके, पहले वो क्या करेंगे, पहले क्लीन करेंगे, दे विल क्लीन इट फर्स्ट, दे विल रिमूव ऑल द पाइप्स, देन दे विल पुट डबल पाइप इन एवरीवेयर देयर इज अ न्यू कॉलम, क्रिएट अ फ्लैट फाइल, टेक्स्ट फाइल. ऐसे लिखा होगा उसके अंदर, चैम्बर्स फ्लैट डबल पाइप्स जॉन डबल पाइप दिस. द फॉर्मेटिंग विल बी कंप्लीटली प्रिजर्व्ड, राइट, एंड इट विल बी गिवन टू यू and given to your developers. They will be analyzed, they will be basically loading it into Cbol. If you are a data BA somewhere, you will be dealing with flat files a lot. It will be left for you to understand the format. Somewhere in some document will be written what format we are getting. You will be asked to analyze what are we getting from that third party interface, third party guy, and you'll be asked to analyze all these things. Stop right here. Do not worry. You know what a flat file is. Flat file basically means there is a delimiter or a separator for every data element. Okay, and it is a text file. Text file समझते हैं ना, notepad file basically text file होती है. That's it. You know it now. You don't need to worry.